On this episode, Ed and I debate the pros and cons of Thai massage, which Ed loves and I do not.
So, if you're a massage pro, a total newbie, or you just have a need to get needed in Bangkok, you'll love this episode of the Bangkok Podcast.
Sawadee krap and welcome to the Bangkok Podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who came to Thailand in 2001 to get my master's degree in tying rubber bands on plastic bags, but dropped out in frustration when I turned out to be hopeless at it.
Aren't we all? And I'm Ed Knuth, an American who came to Thailand on a one-year teaching contract 20 years ago. Fell in love with explaining to Thai women that I don't really look like David Beckham. I just have blue eyes and light brown hair.
Yeah, foreigners tend to get a lot of leeway with who we look like.
For sure. A lot of leeway.
Sadly, when I was teaching back in the day, I got Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's pretty much exactly who I look like in his post-retirement, extra 20 pounds days.
That's funny. It could be worse. It could be worse than that.
Could be worse.
All right. Well, we want to say a quick thank you to one of our patrons, Kevin Watton, who supports us at the show Shadow Level. Stick around after we're done discussing and or arguing about traditional Thai massage to hear what Kevin can learn from Greg's mistakes for his upcoming trip to Thailand.
Yeah.
And a huge thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a whole bunch of cool stuff, including our ad-free regular show a day early, behind-the-scenes photos and videos of our interviews, discounts on swag, which you can find on our website, and various other things that aren't available to regular listeners. But best of all, patrons like Kevin also get an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we riff on current events and random topics. We just finished recording this week's bonus show, and we discussed a post that our buddy Ash sent to us where people in northern Bangkok took a photo of a baby crocodile in a klong, news on Thailand producing and distributing a COVID vaccine, the death of famous expat journalist Bernard Trink, and of course, the latest on the ongoing student-led protests. To become a patron, head to bangkokpodcast.com/support.
Can you imagine just walking out of the klong and being like, yeah, I'm just going to wash these vegetables or something, and then a crocodile swims by? I hope that's just a one-off thing.
Yeah, no, they got to jump on that for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll put that photo in the mail that goes out to our patrons. But it's pretty clearly a baby crocodile in a klong.
Yeah.
Not good news.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, before we get into it, we want to mention something quick. One of our listeners by the name of Kyle Sakowitz got in touch with us and said that he has written a memoir of sorts about his time spent in Thailand a few years back and would like to give some copies away to our listeners. Now, it's called Thaiberg, like as in Pittsburgh, but Thaiberg. And I read a few chapters. Kyle sent it over to me. I read a few chapters, and it's pretty good. It's pretty entertaining. I couldn't read all of it. I don't know if you know this, Ed, but I'm pretty popular. I got a lot of stuff going on. So I know a lot of stuff.
Oh, is that it? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's not that I'm lazy at all. But I'll read the blurb from Amazon here real quick. It says, from volunteering through AmeriCorps and the Peace Corps to teaching alongside masters of the craft, a novelty seeker reflects on the experiences that have set the stage for the second third of his life. Thaiberg is a guide for those aging out of adolescence, a companion for wanderlusts, and a jolt to anyone who let the distractions of contemporary life get in the way of meaningful experiences. So that's pretty cool. We have 5 copies to give away, but there is a catch. Kyle is not a giant publisher. He's just a dude with a book. So these 5 copies are only available on a Kindle and only for people who live in the United States. But I figured that we do have a lot of listeners in the U.S. who are itching to get back to Thailand. So if that's you, this might tide you over until you're able to get back here. So if you fit those criteria, send us an email to bangkokpodcast@gmail.com with the title book, and we'll pick 5 emails and send you the download code, and we'll shut down this contest on October 22nd. So thanks to Kyle for sending that in. Sounds
that's great. And it's free, man. You can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with stuff. And also a quick shout out, Ed, can you hear this? You hear me chewing up?
I can hear that. I'm not sure I like that, but I do hear it.
People probably don't like that at all. It's a very crispy pickle. I found a place on Facebook called the Cereal Pickler.
Whoa.
And I ordered a couple of jars of garlic pickles, a jar of kimchi, and a jar of pickled jalapenos. Really good, man. I'm just glad that we're doing this show remotely and we're not sitting across our table, because you wouldn't be very happy right now with
Probably
the amount
not.
of garlic pickles I've eaten. Anyway, check out the Cereal Pickler on Facebook. They delivered some stuff to me today, and it's really, really good stuff.
I'm not a big pickle guy, but there are some varieties that I like. I might have to experiment a little.
Really? Oh, I love them. They're so good. Delish. All right, on this episode. Now, you know, listeners, that Ed and I usually get along pretty well, but we decided it was time to argue.
Yeah, let's get it on.
We were talking about Thai massage today, and I mentioned that I, as many longtime listeners might know, am not a fan of Thai massage, and Ed told me that I was crazy. And my feelings were hurt a little bit, but I came back with, no, you're crazy, and we started debating. So that's what we wanted to talk about. Thai massage. What's the deal? Now, keep in mind, this is traditional Thai massage. The real massages, no funny business or bathhouses or soapies or anything like that. Now, both Ed and I have good and bad stories about Thai massages, but while Ed keeps going back, I tend to avoid them. Now, keep in mind that either Ed or I are massage professionals. We're just two guys who want to chat about our experiences. But Ed, you do know a little bit more about the medical and historical side of things that I do. So why don't you start it off here and try to convince me why I'm wrong?
Okay. Well, first, let me just be clear. I love Thai traditional massage. I think it's awesome. I think it's one of the best things about visiting and staying in Thailand. And I think anyone who comes here for any amount of time should get a real traditional Thai massage. You may find out it's not for you. I mean, I wouldn't claim it's for everyone, but I do think it's worth checking out, and it's unique, and it's shockingly cheap, which we'll talk about later. But I think a lot of Westerners they know about massage, but massages tend to be fairly expensive in the West, so it's a real kind of luxury. And I don't know a lot of people back home who get many massages who don't have some medical problem or need physical therapy.
Yeah, you're right. I've got a friend back home who got into Thai massage, and he was charging a lot of money. And actually, in research for this show, I looked up a couple of quick prices. 1 hour of Thai massage, just a random selection from some website somewhere. 60 minutes of a Thai massage in New York is $120, which is 3,700 baht. In Vancouver, it's $70, which is 1,600 baht. And in London, it's £60, which is 2,400 baht. So
now, in Bangkok, the prices do vary, and I'll talk about that because there's a lot of different places you can go. But it's pretty normal to get an hour for 300 baht or 400 baht. Is pretty normal.
Like $15.
Yeah. So I mean, back home you're paying anywhere from 10 times to 15 times more than you pay here. So it's relatively cheap. But I'm no expert on it. I would just say I've gotten hundreds of them. So that's my level of expertise. But I did talk to my friend, Mr. Google, and I looked up a little bit on the history of Thai massage, and I knew that Thai massage was part of Thai traditional medicine, or TTM. Thai traditional medicine is kind of a lesser known version of traditional Asian medicine. I think people are familiar with traditional Chinese medicine, and people are familiar with the Indian system of Ayurveda. And I think Thai traditional medicine is interesting because I think it's related to both of them. I think roughly, and if there's any Thai traditional medicine experts out there, I don't mean to step on your toes, but I think probably Thai traditional medicine is really a combination of both Chinese and Indian influences with, of course, things that Thai people themselves have added to it. So it's a little bit like Chinese traditional medicine and a little bit like Ayurveda, but it's unique. But I did find out, and I actually wasn't aware of this. I was checking the history of it, and allegedly the inventor of Thai traditional massage goes all the way back to the time of the and refers to the Buddha's own physician, whose name I'm sure I'm going to mispronounce, but it's Chewaka Kamarapat, is the alleged founder of Thai traditional medicine. Now, of course, that was 2,500 years ago, so undoubtedly there's been many influences over the centuries, the millennia. But it is amazing the history.
Well, I'm no historian, but I don't think Thailand was around 2,500 years ago.
Of course.
It was probably back then. I'm assuming this was in India. So it was probably just considered like Indian medicine. Or
right. But medicine. You're right. But my point is that the whatever exists today is supposedly based on the original form, which is fascinating. I had no idea it actually even allegedly went back that far. But I'll give you, I know a lot of our listeners are familiar with Thai massage, but we got to begin somewhere. So for those of you who've never had a Thai massage, it is quite different from a Western massage. Back home, a lot of times we refer to massages as like Swedish massages or sometimes like deep tissue massages.
Yeah.
And
I never really understood it.
Yeah, back home, I was not aware that you could get a Thai massage in the States, but you can at certain places. But Thai massage tends to focus a little bit more on joint manipulation than muscles. So they definitely do massage your muscles, but they focus a little bit more on joint manipulation and flexibility of the joints. They spend a lot more time on your lower body and your legs and your feet than I think a Western massage. I tend to think of Western massage as focusing on your back and neck.
Yeah.
Typically when people get a massage back home, it's a back massage or lower back. And they definitely do massage that in Thailand, but it's really a whole body massage. And almost every joint on your body gets manipulated, including every toe and every finger. It's I don't know if I want to say it's joint based, but there's a lot of joint manipulation. And to be frank, to be direct, it hurts.
Yes.
Is that the simple way to put it? It hurts. But to me, that's part of its appeal because it hurts, but then they release it, and it hurts, and then they release it, and I don't know. It's that. I don't know. The way I'm explaining it, it sounds a little bit creepy, but there's a little bit of there's a little bit of like a pain pleasure thing going back and forth. Are you with me? I mean, I guess I know you're not. I guess you're not with me, but do you know what I mean?
So you're laying there going, "Oh, it hurts so good."
That's it. I mean, it sounds a little bit weird, but that's it. I mean, it's a mix of pleasure and pain, and I absolutely love it. And over the years, I've gone to many different massage places, and my problem is I've moved so much, like about 5 times in the city, that I don't have some well-established masseuse that I've been going to for 10 years or anything like that. But I do have the places I like, and I will make some recommendations. But the truth is, there's good massage places all over the city. I want you to go into why you don't like it first, and then I'll give some advice for those who want to check it out.
Yeah, well, I will agree with you though that if you come to Thailand, you definitely need to try a Thai massage. It's cheap. You'll probably like it. I found in the time that I've been here, like I've only ever met like 5 people that don't like Thai massage. The same as me.
Well, the truth is, some people they just don't like massages. They don't like strangers' hands on their body.
That's got nothing. If you see me on the street, you go ahead and touch me. I'll love it.
All right, you're totally into strangers' hands.
Yeah, totally. But I don't know. I just the first time I went for a Thai massage, I remember it was at a place called Doctor Feet on Tongwall Soy 13, and they did your feet on the bottom, and they had a second floor where they had a massage thing, and it was so painful, dude. And I was so surprised that this tiny Thai woman that was massaging me, she was half my size,
right?
But she could have broke me in half like a piece of kindling.
Right.
She was incredibly strong. She had arms like iron, and dude, it was like I was with some coworkers, and I'd only been here for a couple of months. And I was trying not to scream and cry.
You're trying to pretend that it doesn't hurt. You're trying to be stoic and tough.
I was with a couple of beautiful fellow teachers, and I was like, "Oh yeah, Thai massage," but I was like, it was not pleasant. And I'm sure she was doing a good job. She obviously was a professional at it. She was obviously had the muscles to do it. But I didn't like any of it. And then afterwards, they gave me a little cup of tea, and I was like, "You should be giving me a shot of whiskey or Jägermeister,"
Well, okay.
And I've gone to a bunch since then, and I like you said, everyone has, not everyone, but a lot of people have their guy. Like I got a dentist, I got a optometrist, I got a massage guy, and I remember a couple of times, our buddy Austin, who doesn't live in Thailand anymore, he's like, "Oh, I gotta go to my girl. She's genius. She's brilliant."
Right.
So I go to his girl, and it's just this painful experience that, and every single time I've come out of a Thai massage, I've thought I would have just rather have gone home and had a nap. It would have been much more relaxing.
Well, okay. I'll give my first piece of advice. The Thai word for hurt or pain is the word jep. So you can tell a masseuse to lighten up. So if you just say jep, that hurts, they will lighten up. But
They stop laughing at you.
right, they will laugh at you. But like I said, part of it is it's kind of supposed to hurt. So I've definitely had some that are kind of too harsh, and then I tell them, it hurts, and they lighten up. So I think if they lighten up too much, then you're not really getting the experience. To me, what I like is this. I love this whole body thing where just every joint, my ankles, my knees, my hips, my lower back, my shoulders, my elbows, everything is just getting manipulated and bent and twisted and stretched. And there's just a ton of different poses and twists and angles, and they've got tons of techniques, like tons of different ways of using leverage. To me, I feel incredible when I walk out of there. I mean, it's because, you're right. It can be kind of trying, it can be kind of like I don't want to say an ordeal, but it can be somewhat stressful. But then to me, when I'm done, I just feel great.
Well, the whole thing is stressful for me. And let me tell you, when I walk into a Thai massage place, they always like, oh, here, put on these slippers. Slippers never fit. My feet are too big.
Oh, right. Well, that's going to be a problem, right?
I just walk around in my socks. Okay, here's your massage pants and your massage shirt to wear. They never fit. They're always like,
right.
Like Gulliver's Travels walk around like,
right.
Give me giant pants. So I end up like right off the bat, they're just like dealing with this freak who walks in and can't fit into any of the gear.
That's
so
funny.
I always end up being massaged by like either in my shorts or just usually in my shorts and t-shirt.
Right. Well,
which is not ideal.
I'll say this. I have two complaints about Thai massage in general. And so you and I actually agree on one thing is I don't like the like clothes they give you. There are these kind of massage pants and massage shirts, and I never understand how to put them on. Honestly, I've done this hundreds of times, and they don't have a proper drawstring, and I never know if it's going forward or backwards. So I agree with you on the attire, and I would rather just wear shorts and a t-shirt. I would rather wear that.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, let me throw this in, since I'm talking about things that I don't like. I'm not a big fan of neck manipulation and neck cracking, and this actually comes from God, this was weird. I was watching an episode of the TV show Bullshit. This was probably about 15 years ago, or maybe
the Penn and Teller one.
Yeah, Penn and Teller show. And
Great show.
They had an episode where they were kind of debunking chiropractic medicine. Now they weren't saying that it can't make you feel good or it can't maybe solve back problems, but there's they were kind of debunking the idea that chiropractors can cure disease. Right. But they also mentioned that there are injuries to people's necks, sometimes severe injuries when they get their necks cracked. Now, it's not common, so I don't know if it's 1 out of 10,000 or what the number is, but there are recorded instances of people having damage to nerves or arteries in their necks from having their necks twisted. And I remembered that from that Bullshit episode. And so when I go get Thai traditional massage, I always tell them I don't want my neck cracked. Right. My Thai is bad, but we've mentioned before on the show, the most useful words in the Thai language are "mai ao," which means I don't want that. So if there's two words you need to know in Thai, it's just "mai ao." So when they go to crack your neck, I recommend saying no to that.
It's funny you bring that up because that's one of my earliest memories that I think probably sort of gave me some PTSD from Thai massage, because this place that I went to more than once, at the end of the massage, they would lay you on your back and the woman would walk around and she would grab your head and she would like twist like a bad guy in a movie killing a bad guy.
Oh yeah, no, horrible. Yeah, and I think that the bottom line is there's a lot of I don't want to say extreme, but they do a lot of, they twist your back, and they stretch, but I just think that most of your body can handle it, so I'm just particularly paranoid about the neck, and it all comes from seeing this on this TV show where people do get injured at chiropractors who probably have more training than the average Thai masseuse. Now some of these Thai masseuses, is that the right word?
Masseuse?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Now some of them go through a lot of training, but I think a lot of Thai massage parlors, that the actual massage people are pretty far down the chain, and they get trained by someone who got trained by someone who got trained by someone. So I don't think the average person has very professional training. So I would, So if chiropractors occasionally injure people, I'm sure it must happen at Thai massage parlors.
Well,
Now,
that's another thing of like, how do you know? How do you know what Thai massage parlors is good? How do you know who's qualified?
well, I'm going to give you some advice there.
All right.
I think that, the best is if you have been here and have experience and know a particular place. But I think that for tourists or expats without experience, I'm going to give you two pieces of advice. The first is go to Healthland. So Healthland is a Thai chain of massage. It's kind of like a spa, but they focus on massage, and it's just called Healthland. You just type that into Google Maps. There's a bunch of branches around Bangkok. And when I first saw them, I was kind of biased against them because it was a chain, and I was used to going to these mom and pop massage places that were on a back soy, and it was my little secret. And, there was an amazing, massage therapist there. So when I looked at Healthline, I'm like, okay, that's McDonald's. I don't do that.
Right.
I do gourmet massage, but
you got to go to Burger King.
Right. But friends of mine said, you got to check out Healthline. And I got to say, it's good. I thought it was going to be really expensive. It's not. It's clean. They have better training. So I think it's the safest. It might not be the best massage in Thailand, but Healthland, seriously, I give it a thumbs up. So, and it's totally family friendly. Like there's no chance of like funny stuff or weirdness. It's just, it's great. So that's the simplest thing.
I will agree with you on that. There was, I have been to Healthland a couple of times. I've been talked into going, and I've just always told them, like, just don't twist anything, just press, basically.
Oh, right.
And so they're sort of like, well, why are you here? I'm like, because my friend is here and I have to come with him. So it's like, I'm the idiot that's there. It's like,
right.
But so it's not really a massage, but I did remember one time that I'd done something terrible to my neck, and I completely wrenched all the muscles along my back and my shoulders, and it was just incredibly painful. And I went to a Healthland, and I just, my wife told me to do this, and I was like, yeah, it's actually a good idea. I went to a Healthland, and I said, I just want to lay down on my stomach for an hour, and I want you to do nothing but press on my shoulders and neck. That's it. Don't twist, don't touch, just press. Use your elbows and your thumbs, and just knead those muscles into oblivion. And that's exactly what they did, and it worked out pretty well.
Oh, cool.
It definitely helped.
Yeah.
So it's cool. It's cool that you can completely tell them exactly what you want.
Right. That's another thing. I mean, besides just telling them, to lighten up, you can just kind of direct them, and they'll kind of do whatever you want. I mean, they're quite flexible. My other piece of advice, with a little bit of an asterisk, is that if you're worried about professionalism or cleanliness, because some massage parlors, even legitimate traditional Thai massage parlors, some of the places are a little bit sketchy, even places that are legit, is basically go to the hotels. All the hotels have their own spas, and they do have massages, and they're very professional. Now, you will pay more. So, massages might be 2 or 3 or 4 times more than in one of these sketchy places, but the bottom line is they're good. I've had some massages in hotels before, and it's swanky, and it's still cheaper than you would pay back home. And you're in like a beautiful setting with music, and they got the like aroma oils going, and it's a great experience. I mean, I'm not a big fan of, I never really got into the whole spa thing, like being pampered all day. I never got into that, but I do sometimes get massages at hotels, and you pay more, but it's still a great deal for what you get.
What's the deal with that cloth looking bulbous thing they press on you? It supposedly filled with herbs, and they press it up against your skin. They always do it in slow motion in these like high soap spa videos.
Yeah,
what I'm talking about?
That's just an herbal something or other. I mean,
what the hell does it do?
I don't know. I usually stay away from the herbal stuff. I mean, I go for a straight Thai traditional massage. I mean, they have a lot of different varieties. So if you get into the varieties, that's fine. But I just love the straight, regular Thai traditional massage. And
I'm very cynical around all of this.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is I don't know if it's really solves any serious problems, but the bottom line is it feels good. I find it incredibly relaxing. And if and again, it hurts. Like part of the whole game is that it's somewhat stressful, and there's like this pleasure, there's this pleasure pain thing going on. But
it's like learning Thai.
Yeah, in some ways, right. So I would say Healthland, hotels, that's kind of your safest bet if you don't have an insider. So if you've got someone who lives here and can recommend, go to this joint, see this girl named May. Like if you don't have that, that's the safest bet.
Yeah, I guess so. I really should try it again though. Like I give it I bitch about it and complain about it, but I really should go and just tell them again, like just press on my back. I'm sure I would probably come out of that feeling a bit more relaxed than I am now.
Right.
It's just that, if I kind of feel if you're going to go to Thai massage, like get a massage. Don't just like I could go home and have my kid walk on my back for 10 minutes and it would probably feel pretty good too.
True that. Well, my other piece of advice is to remember that just foot and leg massages are quite popular at these massage parlors. So if you want something a little bit less invasive and you don't want to change your clothes and you don't want to go in a back room, you can just plop down in a chair and get a 30-minute, 60-minute, 90-minute, 2-hour-long foot and leg massage. And to me, they're great. I mean, it's less trouble than having to change clothes and getting the full body experience. But man, I find it relaxing. It's a great way to kill an hour or two and take a nap.
Again, I can't do them. The first time I got a foot massage, I was here about a month. I went to a place on Tong Lo, and I sat down on the chair, got the hot towels on my calves, and the woman sat there and got that stick they use, that little
the wooden
stick they use to press.
Right.
And she my feet are really ticklish, so she pressed my foot, and I nearly kicked her in the face. Like it just is like this knee-jerk reaction. And she pressed a couple more times, and I was like, "Nope, this is not happening." So I am just not made for massages of any type.
Well, I'm going to recommend besides Healthland, besides the hotel places, which you have to pay more. I'm a big fan of Soi Rambu Tree, which is around Khao San. So there's a street parallel to Khao San called Rambu Tree Alley, and if you go on that street, it curves around, and right at the curve, there's 3 or 4 massage places. One of them I think is called Pai Spa, but there's 3 or 4. I think one of them is just called Khao San Thai Massage. But right at the curve on Rambu Tree, so it's not that hard to find if you check a map and look at Rambu Tree that's parallel to Khao San, and then there's a very clear curve right there. There's 3 or 4 massage places, and I've been going to them for years. They've got great foot and leg massages, but also the full body experience is quite good there.
Interesting. You'd think that wouldn't be a place to get the best massages because it's such a tourist-heavy area full of scammy taxi drivers and stuff, but...
No, it's good. It's quite good. I mean, I think there's a lot of competition there that keeps the prices down, and I've had good experiences there, and I've got some buddies who've been going there for years.
Fair enough.
The last thing I'll say is, if you've never had one before, then you just got to kind of relax and be prepared for some acrobatics, because depending on where you are and who you go to, they've got some really weird moves. Sometimes they get underneath you and like lift you up on their legs, so kind of like create a bridge. Sometimes they lift you up. So there's some quite bizarre and extreme postures, but I say just go for it at least once.
I thought this massage woman was like a Cirque du Soleil acrobat when she was lifting me up. I thought she was going to spin me around and like kick me over to her partner who was going to keep spinning me on her leg or something. But
that's great.
They're good. They're good. They know the girls that do this, the people that do this, they know what they're doing. And to close out here, one of the things I noticed that when I was doing some quick research at the beginning about places to get Thai massage in a lot of countries around the world, a lot of them say that they were educated at Wat Po. They got their certificate at Wat Po.
Correct.
And that's usually, if it's true, it's usually a mark of quality because Wat Po, beyond being Thailand's sort of premier original massage school, it was actually Thailand's first university too. And it's still training masseuses to this day, and they put out some really good.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to close because you can actually get a good massage there. So if you go to Wat Po to take pictures, just as a typical tourist, a great way to take a break is just to get a massage there. They're right there at the massage school. You can get a totally legit, very inexpensive massage.
Yeah, who knows? You might end up sitting down to a sleeping Ed.
That's right.
Getting his foot massage, just sit there snoring happily away.
That's quite possible, actually.
All right. Well, let's get into some love, loathe, or live with, where one of us picks a particular aspect of life in Bangkok, which we then discuss and decide if it's something we love about living here, loathe about living here, or have come to accept as something that we just have to learn to live with, no matter how we feel about it. And this week, it is your turn, my friend.
Okay, Mr. Greg.
All right.
In all honesty, this is not something you could possibly love, but I'm going to go with it anyway.
Okay.
So this is more of a loathe or live with. I got 4 words for you.
I'm down.
Screaming cats at night. Are you with me? You know what I'm talking about?
I guess so. I mean, screaming cats at night, it's a thing.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, clearly it's probably not a Bangkok thing. It's probably a city thing. I'm sure people who live in New York, they have to deal with this. But everywhere I've lived in Bangkok, at night, there are cats, and I don't even know what they're doing. Like, I don't know if they're fighting or screwing. But what do you think they're doing? They scream, and they sound like human babies.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, you know.
Clearly, this doesn't bother you as much as it bothers me.
You know, it's funny. I've always sort of been entertained by that sound. Not loving it, but I've always sort of been like, oh man, they're really going at it. I wonder what's happening. Like,
I mean, they sound, tell me, they sound like human babies.
Well, you're not a parent, so I'll tell you not.
True. Well, I mean, I don't like it, man. I don't know what's going on. Seriously, I don't know if they're, what are they fighting? Or do you think, or do you think something else going on?
Probably fighting, or maybe they're in heat. So maybe hard to tell the difference. I don't know.
Right.
I don't notice it too often actually, but I got to say when I do hear it, I don't immediately hate it. I think it's kind of entertaining.
Oh, that's
especially
weird.
Because they're Thai cats, so they go meow.
Dude, you're weird. I mean, I find that the sound just creepy, and I really don't like it.
You want to be creeped out? Go into YouTube and type in mountain lion scream.
Okay, I don't want to do that. But
They sound like a woman being robbed.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. Next time I hear it, okay, I don't know when it'll be because it's totally random. I'm going to try to make a recording of it. And at some point in the future on the podcast, I'm going to play a recording. And it's going to freak out our listeners. It's I find it one of the weirdest natural sounds. Like, I find it really odd.
I mean, yeah, it is odd because there's a surprising strength behind it.
Yeah.
But I don't loathe it unless it goes on for too long. I quite find it like live with, I guess.
All right.
Sort of a fascinating peek into the underbelly of night Bangkok.
Hard loathe. Screaming cats at night. Hate it.
Screaming cats at night. It's even worse when they're inside.
That's right. Okay, so as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we'd like to say thank you to Kevin Watton for lending us his support at the show shout-out level. Greg, what did you find out about Kevin?
Well, our buddy Kevin got back to me, and I gotta say, I laughed a little bit at his response here because it sort of reminded me of me in my early days.
Oh, really?
Of coming to Bangkok. Yeah. So I asked Kevin, I was like, "Hey, what's up? What's going on? What's your plans? Who are you? Where are you from?" And he said, "I'm looking forward to moving to Thailand to be with my girlfriend in Phitsanulok, which is a great little town, very close to Sukhothai, which is an amazing historical park, way better than Ayutthaya, in my humble opinion." But he said, "I'm a little worried. Thailand has not just amazing food, but a lifestyle that seems to revolve around food."
That's true.
Very true. Like, there's always a joke here about like how do Thais eat 15 meals a day?
Right. And stay skinny.
You look at them eating noodles and then you turn around back again and they're eating a different bowl of noodles. He said food is cheap. Restaurants and food vendors are everywhere, which is also very true. But like me, Kevin said he's a big dude and he says, "I don't know what I'm going to do." So all I can say is that, Kevin, check this out. You know, when I moved here, I was probably the heaviest that I've ever been. And I just ate nothing but Thai food for about a year. Then I stayed away from like the deep fried stuff and all of like the junk starchy and stuff like that. Just rice and vegetables and chicken. My favorite dish was kai pet met mamuang, which is chicken with cashew nuts.
Right.
Really good. And I was also going to the gym, to be fair. But dude, I lost like 15 kilograms in my first year in Bangkok.
Cool.
Yeah, it was the thinnest I've been in my adult life.
You know, I wonder if the heat had something to do. You were probably burning calories just walking around.
Probably. And it's funny, that's something Kevin also said. The way he ended his email made me laugh. He said, "Also, I hate hot weather. Cheers."
Well, okay. So I hope he must love his girlfriend a lot that he's going to come here then, because if he hates hot weather, then
I gotta be honest, man. I'm not a huge fan of hot weather either. I mean, if it was about 20 degrees every day, I would be in heaven here, but that ain't the case.
No way.
So all I can say, Kevin, is that like there's very, very good, pretty healthy Thai food that you will not you won't feel like you're missing out on anything if you eat it. And the heat, there's not much you can do about that. But I always say to people, you don't really get used to the heat. You just get used to sweating a bit more. And I would say the secret to that is always wear an undershirt. If
Yes.
you're wearing like a button-up office shirt.
Undershirts are key, no doubt.
They are key. They are key. Yeah. So, anyway, man, you'll get used to it just like I did. And you might find that it all sort of slides into place and becomes, a very successful long-term home for you, like it has for Ed and I.
That's right. And pretty soon you'll be thinking that, 26 degrees Celsius is cool.
That's right. That's right. Like we were talking about. But thanks for your support, man. So that's really cool. Let us know when you're here and we will go out for a beer and tell you stories of the old days.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. A final thanks to our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a ton of cool perks and the warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that they're helping support the show. Find out more by clicking support on our website. And connect with us online. We're Bangkok Podcasts on social media, bangkokpodcast.com on the web, or simply bangkokpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners and always reply to our messages.
Yeah, you can also listen to each episode on YouTube. You can chat with us on the Line app or even reach out to me directly on Twitter or Instagram, where I am BKK Greg. So thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you back here next week.
For sure.
Sorry, I don't know why I took a bite of a cookie in the middle of a sentence. It's not cool. People don't like to hear me chew. I'll have to finish this for a second. I might as well eat the whole thing now. I only have one bite left. Check this out. See this?
Hold on. I'm not looking at the video. Hold on. Where the hell are you, damn it? Can't find the video window. I don't know where the damn video window is. Okay, I have so many things open, I can't find the video window. Hold on, let's see.